Okay, so what you need to do is make sure you have the note sheet that you need to get from the teacher, and the top of it says find a part of a number. And what you're going to do is just fold that note sheet in half, and the inside of it is this. And I'll put that there, but this is going to be a way that kind of helps us with our learning. You're going to take some notes on this. So let me go back to the front here. It says find the part of a number, and we're going to learn a new thing in math. This is called a proportion, and when we solve, we have to multiply and divide. And I think as long as you get a calculator, oh, that's the other thing. You might want to get your calculator before you take notes. Okay, so we're going to start with just the top part. So if you fold it in half, open it up so that it looks like this. So you want to be looking at these ones right here. So it starts with 40% of 60 is the one we want to look at. All right, so what we're going to use today is this proportion, and we're going to have the is on the top of the fraction, the word of on the bottom, equals a percent over 100. It's always 100 because remember a percent was out of 100. So if I look at this first problem, it says 40% of 60. So of is the number 60. So what I do is I draw my fractions. Remember 100 is always on the bottom. And it says 40%. Well, the percent goes on top of the 100. So this is 40. And then I have of 60. So if you look here, of is on the bottom of the other fraction. That's 60. This one we don't know. So I'm going to put the letter N for number because we're looking for an answer of a number. All right, so now here's where you need your calculator. I gotta grab my calculator here. Okay, so when you solve a proportion, you multiply the diagonal that you know, the two numbers that you know. So I know these two numbers. So I multiply these two numbers. So if I go to my calculator, I'm going to have 60 times 40, and that's 2,400. And then I divide by the number that I haven't used. So I use these two. I have not used 100, so I divide by 100. So in your calculator, you take 2,400 divided by 100. And my answer is 24. That's the answer to that problem. So 24 is the number that is 40% of 60. Okay, so let's try another one. So the next one says, what number is 12% of 20? So I'm going to draw my two fractions. The bottom of the right side is always 100. The top is a percent. In this problem, is there a percent? Yes, 12 is the percent. So it's 12 over 100. So it's the percent over 100. And it says what number is 12%? We already used that. Of 20. Of 20. Of is in the denominator or the bottom of the fraction. So 20. I don't know this one. So in algebra, what we do is we just call that an n, a number. And we're going to find the number. And you have to multiply the diagonal that you know. So I know these two right here. I know those two. So I'm going to multiply 20 times 12. So get your calculators. You're going to do 20 times 12 is 240. And then you take 240 and you divide by the number that you did not use, this one, because it's across from the letter N. So you divide by 100. So use your calculator. 240 divided by 100 is 2.4. My answer is 2.4. So 2.4 is 12% of 20. All right, let's try another one. So we have 30% of 45. So again, I'm going to use my proportion, my two fractions that are equal. And when I use this formula, this proportion formula, 100 is on the bottom, on the right side. The percent is above it. Do I know a percent? I do. It's 30, so I put 30. And the only other thing I have is of 45. So of is in the bottom, or the denominator, of the other fraction. So 45. I don't know this number, so I use the letter N to represent the number. And I multiply the two numbers that I know. So I'm going to take 45 times 30. I'm going to do 45 times 30. I get 1,050. And now I need to take that answer and divide by 100, because that's how I solve a proportion. So I take 1,350 divided by 100, and my answer is 13.5. That's the answer that I'm looking for. So in order to solve these percent problems, you have to do what we call cross multiply. You multiply across and divide by the number that you haven't used. So let's try these last couple examples. What number is 80% of 210? So 100, do I know a percent? I do. I know 80%. Of 210, so the of goes in the bottom of the fraction. I do not know this number, so I call it n. Now I have a proportion, so I'm going to cross multiply the two numbers that I know. I know these two numbers. So I'm going to take 210 times 80. Mm, 16,800. So I get 16,800. And then I need to divide by this one. And when I do that in my calculator, if I divide by 100, I get 168 is my answer. I'm going to tell you, some of you have been working in IXL and you have been just doing this by changing the percent to a decimal and of to multiply. You can keep doing it that way. All I'm doing today is showing you a different way. Okay, I'm just trying to show you another option. All right, so the next one we have is 100% of 75. So 100 is on the bottom. My percent is also 100, so they are the same. Of 75, of goes on the bottom. I don't know the number, the is, so I put that in the numerator as the letter N. And then I cross multiply 75 times 100. That equals 7,500. And I take my 7,500 and I divide by 100. So I get 75 for my answer. And you can use your calculator to do that. That one I just knew because when the percent is 100, it has to be the same number. See how these two numbers are the same? So I knew that one had to be like that. Okay, the last one. What number is 32% of 400? So my two fractions. 100 is here. 32 is a percent, so it's above 100. The of is 400. I don't know the is, so I don't know the top number, so that's an n. And then I have to cross multiply to solve a proportion. So I'm going to take 400 times 32. So 400 times 32 gives me 12,800. And I take 12,800 and I divide it by 100. My answer is 128. Okay, so now your job is you need to go to Canvas. So you're going to go to your Canvas, back to Canvas. And when you get there, you should have a quiz that is called the same thing. That quiz should be called what we have here. Where did it go? Find the part of a number. So you're going to go to that module and you're going to do the one that says part of a number in the module. So you're going to do this one here. Now notice you have to get at least 8 before you can go on to the next stuff. All right, so get that done. When you get done with that, you come back to the modules and I'm going to show you a different type of problem.